So I have my top here, which is this is from Joann's. Literally, it's like a Halloween special fabric. It's very cheap. And beneath it, I have, this is a vinyl coated fabric. So it's fabric on the back and like a rubbery wing-like texture on the front, which is great. And it's cheap. This is very simple stuff you can get to really make your costume pop. And with my robe, again, I went with moleskin, this dark, light absorbing fabric, and another backlit fabric for the hood. So that's just a quick primer on fabrics, which I think a lot of people struggle with. If I was going to make a costume, let's say a Star Trek uniform, I think a lot of where the replicators come from is they say, what should I make this jumpsuit out of? And they don't have an answer. So the quick and easy way is to say, well, what did they make it out of originally? That's a great way to start, but I encourage you all to take a step forward and think a little beyond that. We're not wearing this for 10 minutes under the lights. I mean, we're going to be in a con, sweating and drinking beer and running around. And, you know, you need to be comfortable. So, and a lot of the stars agree that the costumes are not that comfortable. And the quicker they can get them off, the better. So we don't want to do that to ourselves. Let's see. Let's talk about idealization a little bit, because that sort of goes along with this topic. A good example with these belts. With these belts, they have a slight problem in that the tail of this belt tends to move. Now in the movie, it didn't matter, because they had somebody running up after every shoot to do this number, to do a fix and fiddle with everything, but we can't do that. So you have to be creative in how you fix these little issues, like the Picard maneuver, right? He did it for a reason. Well, how can we fix that? You have to be a little creative. You know, maybe you could put some elastic in there, or you could do a little pin underneath. It's all this little hidden stuff and make your life so much easier, unless you want to do the Picard maneuver, which is quite okay too. But yeah, like we came up with a creative way to fix that. There's a lot of little things that you can do. So anybody have any questions at this point as I'm yakking away?
You made a comment to me before about people go and buy costumes out of Hong Kong, kind of things like that. You'll see it on eBay,
right? And
then bring it to you when they get it home and they put it on and it fits miserably. You know, it's supposed to be their size, and then they come to you and say, "Hey, can you alter this?"
Yeah, it happens a lot. Happens a lot. I mean, I think everybody wants that handmade piece that's just right for them, and the allure is very high to go to China and just say, "Hey, shoot me that jumpsuit over here," or "I want that Indiana Jones outfit." They contract that sewing out. They probably have really, really talented people sewing somewhere, but it just happens when they arrive, they don't fit.
Yeah, several years ago, I got a Han Solo outfit, and it said extra large. I said, figuring out the dimensions, it's my size, and I got it to the house, and I said, must be extra large for a Chinese guy, but it's not for me. I had to go down to a tailor, and they had to lengthen the sleeves, they had to let out the belt for me, and they had padding on it that looked like I was a football player, so they took the padding out of the shoulders to make it fit right. Yeah.
Right. That's another thing, too. If you're going to someone for sewing, someone who's going to contract sew for you, who is not a costumer, make sure, please, that they take very extensive measurements. I mean, like 3 times more than you think is necessary. When I'm sewing a piece for someone, I'm literally measuring the front half of their body, especially women. The front half as one piece and the back half as one piece. Men, this isn't so much of an issue for you, but like us ladies, if you want something that's going to fit right, we need to know exactly how big you are in every section of your body. The other thing I love about couture, there is no size. There really isn't. It's just you. You and your measurements, whatever size you are. So when I look at someone and I'm measuring someone out for something, I'm not even thinking of that. In my mind, I'm already building that piece on their body, which is nice. Now, patterns, if you're working from a pattern, back to a sewer who's a technical sewer, they're going to look at that pattern and they're going to go, how can I fit this woman in a size 8? And they're literally going to spend hours figuring this out. So it's important that you have someone who's really good with alterations. And let them make sure that they're familiar with your body. Visit often and make sure the product is flowing as you plan. Because unless you're dealing with someone who's an experienced costumer, the opportunity for things to go wrong is pretty high. So, and I want you all to be successful if you do endeavor to spend a fair amount of money on something like this. Again, if you're buying from China, if you go like do costume-based cosplaying, whatever they call themselves, make sure you have a great tailor on hand. And just be aware and be ready that you may get something totally off base. My boyfriend bought an Imperial Officer online, and I did his measurements. And when it came in, it was like, I don't know. It was bad. It was really bad. The neck was huge. The neck was like 3 inches too large. And if I provided measurements, you would think that they would be able to fix that. And it would be right on. But it just isn't. It just isn't. But the sad thing is we don't have enough people who really dedicate their lives to sewing those types of costumes here, which is why I would also encourage you all, please support your local artists. If it's a prop maker, a shoemaker, cobblers need your business. You want some really special boots or you have some shoes you want to alter, add some stuff, go see your local cobbler, they're great. Our local leather workers and people who sew, definitely. I mean, if we can keep some money in our economy and build up our local arts, all the better, which is what I'm always thinking of. So, speaking of props, don't forget about what makes your character uniquely your character. So, for example, what makes Picard Picard?
Yeah. His stunning hairline.
You're here.
You know, what makes a Klingon a Klingon?
Attitude.
Right.
Violence.
What makes an Orion an Orion? Beautiful green skin and sexy attitude. So, if you can identify whatever this character outfit is that you're doing, if you can identify the items that make it uniquely what it is, focus your energy and your money on those pieces, especially shoes and especially accessories, because that's the stuff people are going to remember. When you walk into the room and you're like, wow, like you really knock people out, they're going to remember stuff like that. They're going to remember, she had a great paint job. Her paint job was so amazing. That's what they're going to remember. You know, or she had a great hair piece, and I love her belt. They're going to remember that about you. So focus your energy on those things, and don't worry too much about the small stuff.
When it comes to the costumes, I understand what you're saying. What about the footwear? A lot of characters or superheroes, they have very stylized boots, and nobody ever really wants to wear a boot cover. You want to get an actual boot made.
I sacrifice for that art.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My back row boots, they're pleaser boots, and I cut the bat symbol out myself, and I melted a plastic piece of the back of it and melted onto the vinyl to keep the symbol upright.
Yeah.
Because when you cut the boots, it just sags like that.
Yeah. Your local cobbler, do you live in an urban area? You live around here?
West Palm.
West Palm. Look and see if you have a local cobbler. We have several in Tampa where I live. And one of the guys is so excited whenever I call him up with something like that. He gets so excited. He will actually build a pair of shoes for me from the bottom.
What's his average price for something like that?
He's very cheap. I think the most I ever paid him was $40.
Wow. Can I get his contact?
Yeah. Huh?
Custom made.
Custom made from the floor up.
I need his contact information. We need to talk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Cobblers are like a completely neglected art. I think they're around, we don't think about them. I mean, it's a resource that definitely should be used. Do you have a question?
Actually, I have a question, and if you'll allow me a blatant self-plug. I actually have been a costumer for 30 years. I do armor, medieval armor. I've also done all kind of medieval costumes, tunics, gowns, the whole thing. Built a business on Renaissance shirts that was wonderfully successful for many years. Now I can't find the fabric anywhere.
Right.
Unless I could get a boat to India, maybe. So it's really been hard.
That
Joanne
is
in particular, they're just a desolation of good fabrics nowadays, it seems. But I do have a medieval shoe pattern that anybody can make. It'll fit anyone.
Right.
If I was interested, you could ask me afterwards, whatever. But my real question is, draping seems to be a lost art. Even being a lot of people who sew nowadays. And if somebody could learn the basics of draping, they could go light years into making their costumes comfortable and to fit. And I don't know of a resource anywhere where you can just pick it up and You get a step